difference. We are discussing about the difference. Evaporation takes place only at the surface. Remember the difference. Evaporation takes place only at the surface, while boiling is a uniform phenomenon. Both are conversion of liquid to gaseous state. Liquid state is converting to gaseous state, but evaporation takes place only at the surface. Evaporation takes place only at the surface. Evaporation therefore can be called as a surface phenomenon. Evaporation takes place only at the surface, therefore it can be called as a surface phenomenon. Evaporation can be called as a surface phenomenon. Particles from the surface gain enough energy to overcome the force of attraction present in the liquid and changes to vapor state. Particles from the surface gain enough energy. That means in the liquid state, the particles gain enough energy from the surroundings and overcome the force of attraction present in the liquid. You know that force of attraction is greater for solid than for liquid and then for gas. That means force of attraction is very less for gas and very greater for solid. In between them, liquid is there. That means liquid have more force of attraction than gaseous state. To overcome this force of attraction, the particles attain energy from the surroundings. Then by overcoming this force of attraction, it gets changes to vapor state. Evaporation is a continuous process. Remember the point, evaporation is a continuous process and it also causes cooling. It causes cooling. In summertime, when we are sweat after running or walking, then if we are sitting under a fan, our body gets a cooling effect. That's due to evaporation. That means whenever evaporation happens, we feel a cooling effect. That means evaporation causes cooling. Then the factors affecting evaporation. What are the factors affecting evaporation? The factors affecting evaporation are surface area, temperature, humidity, and wind speed, wind. These are the 4 factors affecting evaporation. You are having a question from this topic. What are the factors affecting evaporation? What are the factors affecting evaporation? The factors affecting evaporation are: first one is surface area, second one is temperature, third one is humidity, and the fourth one is wind speed. Now we are going to discuss how these factors affect evaporation. Evaporation increases with increase in surface area. As surface area increases, evaporation also increases. You all know that whenever our clothes are wet or whenever we are washing our clothes, if we increase our surface area, like we are placing the clothes by increasing the surface area in a rope or in a stand, then it gets dry faster than when we are the clothes are put together in same place. When 10 or more clothes are washing and we are placing one above the other and not spreading the clothes, then it gets more time to dry. But when one cloth spread and put it in a stand or in a rope, it gets dry faster. That means whenever the surface area is increased, the rate of evaporation also increases. The second factor affecting evaporation is temperature. The second factor affecting evaporation is temperature. Evaporation increases with increase in temperature. As temperature increases, evaporation also increases. In summertime, clothes get dry faster. But during monsoon, it takes more time to get dry. That means as temperature increases, evaporation also increases. The third factor is humidity. Evaporation decreases with increase in humidity. As humidity increases, evaporation decreases. As humidity increases, evaporation decreases. And the fourth factor, that's the last factor, is wind speed. Evaporation increases with increase in wind speed. If we are getting high wind, then evaporation takes place faster. These are the factors affecting evaporation. And just remember what is evaporation. It is a surface phenomenon and takes place only at the surface. That's the difference from boiling. Boiling is also the same process of conversion of liquid to gaseous state. But the difference is that evaporation takes place only at the surface. That means evaporation is a surface phenomenon. The process is that during evaporation, the particles attains energy from the surroundings and overcome the force of attraction in liquid form to convert it to the gaseous state or vapor state. And the process always causes cooling. It causes a cooling effect. And the factors affecting evaporation are surface area, temperature, humidity, and wind speed. Surface area and evaporation are directly proportional. That means as surface area increases, evaporation also increases. As temperature increases, evaporation also increases. But in case of humidity, as humidity increases, evaporation decreases. Then as wind speed increases, evaporation also increases. Relating to this evaporation, now we are going to discuss two questions in your textbook. The first one is, why should we wear cotton clothes in summer? Or why cotton clothes is more preferable to use in summer time? It is because that in summer time it is very hot. We are getting sweat, or we are having dehydration, or our water content losses are in the form of sweat. We know that the process of evaporation, the particles in the liquid form gains energy from the surroundings, and gets converted to the vapor state. During summer time, the liquid form, that means our sweat, attains energy from our body, and then converts to the vapor state. That causes cooling effect on our body. When we are using cotton cloths, it is a good absorber of water. Then the cotton cloths can easily absorb the sweat content from our body and expose it to sunlight and causes evaporation easily. That's why in summertime, cotton is more preferable. Is it clear? When you are getting a question, why cotton clothes are more preferable in summer, then you should answer like this. When evaporation happens, the particles in liquid state attains energy from its surroundings and gets converted to vapor form. This energy is absorbed from our body, and that's why we are having a cooling effect. When cotton clothes are used, it is a good absorber of water. It absorbs our sweat and exposes it to sunlight, and evaporation causes easily. That means when we are using cotton clothes, evaporation happens easily. That gives us a cooling effect. That's why cotton clothes are more preferable in summer. This is one question which is given in your textbook. And the another question is that, why should we see water droplets on the surface of a glass container or any other container which is full of or which is having cold water, ice cold water? You all see this phenomenon that when we are taking cold water in a glass, then we can see water droplets in the outer surface as well. Why this happens? The reason is simple. whenever the water vapor present in the air comes in contact with the cold glass surface, it loses its energy and becomes liquid state. That means the water vapor present in air when comes in contact with the cold glass loses its energy and becomes converted to liquid state. That liquid droplets are seen in the outer surface. This is the second question. Clear? That's all we are having in this chapter, matter in our surroundings. Let's recollect what here we have studied in this chapter. First, we discussed about what matter is and the characteristics of particles of matter. Then we are having three states of matter are solid, liquid and gas. We differentiate these three characteristics of solid, characteristics of liquid and then characteristics of gaseous state. Then how will we interconvert these states of matter, solid to gas or gas to solid, solid to liquid, other anyway we can convert these three states of matter. And what is the name of that process? Then we go through some definitions: melting point, boiling point, freezing, condensation, latent heat of vaporization, latent heat of fusion. Then the last topic is evaporation and factors affecting evaporation. Then I give the answers of two questions which is in your textbook and maybe asked for your board exam. Just remember that two questions. That's all about this chapter. I hope you understand the first chapter very well. And thank you for joining me in this section. I am Nitish S. Let us meet in another section with another chapter. That's all. Thank you.